Burgundy Ballers, again. Welcome back to another episode of the Ballin in Burgundy podcast. Yeah, 2 straight weeks to NFC rivals, and we out here taking L's. We got my man Chris, Andrew, and Justin off doing school and work, so all prayers up to them. But we got my guy. I told y'all it would not be the only time you see this handsome man down below me. I got my guy Corey Sanchez on the warpath coming back. What's up, man?
What's up, fellas? Good to be back with you, man. I'm about as disappointed as y'all are.
Yeah, this game was just heartbreaking. Let's talk about it. 38-31. It really should have been like 31-31, but fucking QB sneaks. Eagles come into Washington and win, and this is their first win back-to-back NFC East rival opponents following a Phillies loss. Or whatever that tweet was. It was like, whatever baseball or hockey team loses, the Eagles follow that loss. This is the first time in a while that hasn't happened. I'm like, of all weeks against us, Sam Howell out here showing us why he should have been a first-round pick, but fell to the fifth with, what was it, 400 yards?
Just 397 yards, 39 of 52, 397 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick.
One pick. Which, honestly, that one's on him.
Yeah.
That one was on him. He threw that right to Reed Blankenship, but then Reed just kind of played it safe. But no, we were up 17-10 at halftime. I was like, all right, cool. Eagles get the ball back. I was like, that's not gonna look so good. And then it kind of just went from there. And then fourth quarter comes around, and Philly decides, all right, we'll show back up again. They scored 3 times in the fourth quarter.
And we had to lead in the fourth quarter, too, at one point.
Yep. We had more total yards, less turnovers, less given up sacks, more first downs, more time of possession, and we still lost. We had more passing. We had more total plays. We had better yards per play, better passing, more rushing, but more penalties. Oh, and these referees are pissing me off.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to go.
Yeah.
Some of the worst officiating I've ever seen. How was Devontae Smith's catch a catch?
Hey, no. Let me go on the rant. Let me go on the rant. All right. You referees, you know you messed up. You know that wasn't a catch. You know Devontae Smith dropped that ball. He was bobbling it. Y'all should have known that wasn't a catch. Y'all should have said incomplete, or y'all should have reviewed it because, I'm sorry, didn't the league establish a rule a couple years ago that said any fourth down, turnover, or touchdown reviewed is all reviewed, right? So, where was that review at? And yes, Ron Rivera doesn't throw out the challenge flag. Yes, we understand that, and yes, we're all mad at him for it. But let's be real. He didn't get the replay. He wasn't able to see it. You know, and somebody upstairs though should have been like, throw that challenge flag. But we didn't. So then you want to talk about Jahan Dotson on 4th and 5, or what was it? 3rd and 5? 3rd and 5, right? You want to talk about Jahan Dotson, right? Catches the ball, goes down, it bobbles a little, not that much though, and it doesn't hit the ground. They say it's a catch. You're thinking, all right, we got the first down, we maybe have a chance to tie this game, which I think we would have, but it will be a nail biter. So then Darius Slay gets hurt, right? And with no announcement saying the previous plays under review or anything like that, they say incomplete. And remind you, it's outside of the 2-minute warning. The 2-minute warning. So you're telling me you're just gonna say it's incomplete? You're just gonna say that and not even give a review or anything like that? Like, I'm sorry. As soon as Darius Slay went down, the refs knew they had to. They had to change it. They had to change it. And so then they basically gave the ball back to the Eagles at that point. They basically did. I'm sorry, like, and then the refs were like, "Oh, you know what? We're just gonna give Washington a gimme touchdown, even though the game is pretty much already over, because they knew they messed up." But you know what, referees? Y'all should have been fired. Y'all should be fired. Y'all should be fined. Y'all should be suspended. Y'all need to get looked into. The NFL needs to look into this, and the NFL look into it, because I remember 10 years ago that when I was a kid, Jonathan, you were, maybe in middle school. Corey, I'm pretty sure you remember. Like, you didn't like really complain about the refs if your team lost. Like during the RG3, Russell Wilson, Peyton Manning, like during that era, you didn't really complain. Now, everybody else complains about the refs. So it's not only Washington fans, but it's everywhere around the league. And why the league doesn't look into it, I have no idea. But I guarantee you the refs are on sports betting, playing NFL fantasy, everything like that. So yeah, that is my rant.
Or you take it away.
Yeah, Chris, I hear you, man. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, there's 6, 7 different plays you can look at that cost us the game, that it wasn't involving the officials. Ron can give that BS excuse of he was trying to look at the replay. Throw the flag. This is the second year in a row that the Eagles have shown their hand. If you follow me on Twitter, I put it up this morning. And I said, replay of 2022 in week 3, Devontae Smith was out of bounds. If you go back and watch it, Ron Rivera was so slow on the damn trigger to throw the flag. He threw it after they had snapped the ball on the second play. Ron Tober had to come back and tell him, Ron, you can't challenge it now. So he's a half a set. He was $1 short. He was $1 short on that one and a day late. What did he do in pretty much the same type of situation where the Eagles knew they didn't catch that ball? And that's down to good coaching versus bad coaching. And that's how you win game. He's pushing them forward. Well, why? I would be like, oh, why are they moving downfield? Like, oh, that might not be a catch. Throw the flag out. Get the flag out. But then you challenge plays that's not going to get reversed. We saw it last week in New York, where he threw that challenge flag, and then we saw it on that weird. And I'm not saying that there wasn't some funny business on that last chain of plays or whatever in the ham sandwich it was, but you challenge a play that wasn't going to get overturned because there was no visual evidence. We saw it on there, and it was going to be the rule on the field stands. And I said that on my live stream. I said the rule on the field is going to stand. And what happened? What did Carl Cheffers come back and say? The ruling on the field stands. Let's go dive into the context a little bit more too. Did Carl Cheffers and his crew say you should put Emmanuel Forbes on AJ Brown twice after he got beat at the beginning of the month? You know what? It was like a landlord coming to you and said, I'm going to come back to you. I'm here waiting for you at the beginning of the month. Guess what? Rent's due, and Emmanuel Forbes wasn't paying for it. It's the same thing with Benjamin St-Juste. I would revoke his work visa because of how bad he looked against AJ Brown. Those situations, there's so many. It's just a microcosm of it. And I get the officials aren't good. They're not good at any level. They're not good at high school. They're not good at college. They're not good in the NFL. But you have to sometimes win in spite of them. And some teams do that. I get what you're saying. I remember there was one time we prayed for these refs to come back because of a game that happened in Seattle back in 2012. And remember that catch? They had the dual catch. It was like one guy said it's incomplete, one guy said it was touchdown, and it was clearly incomplete. It was interception. So I don't know, fellas, but we lost this game more than the Eagles took it away from us.
Yeah, yeah, because like I said, 2 plays or multiple plays that cost us. Sam's interception.
Yep.
Us failing on 4th and 1 as we go empty set. 4th and 1.
Yep.
And Bieniemy's like, yeah, you know what? Let's go an empty set. And I'm thinking to myself, why when B-Rob's giving you 3-4 yards per rush, you have Gibson, who's pretty slick. For his size, he's pretty slick. And Chris Rodriguez, who runs like Isaiah Pacheco and is just angry at the world. You have Curtis Samuel, who loves to get in on the run plays on this offense. He is the Deebo Samuel of this team. And you decide, you know what? Let's go an empty set, throw the ball. And even though Sam's dead set looking at his left, if he tilts that head 30 degrees, what does he have? Pretty much 2 receivers in front of the DBs. 3 yards past the first down marker.
Yep.
And we go there. And in the 4th and 5, where Wiley gives up the sack to Hassan Reddick. So 2 turnovers on downs and an interception. There's 3 drives right there, which I think Philly scored on all of them.
I question. Look, and not to cut y'all off before y'all were talking. I like the idea of going for it on 4th and 1. You're up 14. I believe it was 14-3 at that point, right?
I think so.
Yeah, midway through the second quarter, knowing Philly gets ball start second half. Knowing. I like the idea of going for it because you're on the plus side of the field. You're going for it 4th and 1. If you have an empty set, like they did right there, they either A, could have pulled a Kirk Cousins, took the snap, fake it like he's going to pass it and take off up the middle, or take off and run and get it that way. B, you could have motioned in, what was it, B-Rob or Gibson on the field. Mm-hmm. You could have motioned them in, took the snap, hand it off, boom, you get the first down. Or maybe, throw like a little quick screen, get your guys out there, get the guys out there real quick, throw a quick screen, foul, you got the first down. Because that's what we were doing at the beginning of the game on that first drive before the touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin. We basically were throwing screens and checkdowns, which is good. And then B-Rob has the big run before the Terry touchdown. So I like the idea of going for it. Just why do you need to pass it there?
I mean, I guess, the quick reads at the head, maybe that was the hot guy he had to go to. That was designed for Terry. I was under the thought process of why do you run it right there? Why don't you run it right there? I thought that you saw good moments out of B-Rob. I thought Antonio Gibson looked good. He had what did he have, like a combined 49 yards, almost 50 yards they hit 14 on the ground and 28 through the air. So that's the tool that you have to y'all notice, like when he's used in space, 9 times out of 10 we usually do pretty well in those situations, but then it seems like he disappears as it goes. So I don't understand that, and that's what kills me. And I know that Curtis Samuel was gone. He was wide open on that fly route. But you know what? That's what you have sometimes when you got a young quarterback who's not seeing on the field, and who, I think I told y'all this a couple weeks ago when I was on here, right? A quarterback has that clock in their head, right? That quick trigger. And if he feels like he can't trust his offensive line, which I think that trust was rebuilt a little bit,
Yeah.
he's going to make the quick decision that's going to make him feel right. So he's going to rush some things at times. I think that was a credit to what he's been previously abused by this offensive line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gibson had a combined total of 42 yards. He had 14 on the ground and 28 through the air. I said this, I think, 2-3 weeks ago with Justin. I think it was when all four of us, me, Chris, Justin, and Andrew, were on. Is why don't we just switch Gibson back to receiver that he was at Memphis, but then we drafted him as a running back?
That would admit that would be Ron Rivera and crew admitting they were wrong.
Yeah, it'll never happen.
That won't. Yeah. So you might.
Happen.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it this way. That remember when we traded away Eric Flowers after the 2019 season and only to get him back for the 2021 season? I feel like that was Ron's way of saying I was wrong.
Yep.
I feel like Chris Paul starting this week. That's Ron's way of saying I was wrong. Benching Nick Gates for Tyler Larson. I was wrong. He can't come out, and you see it in his press conferences, right? The first thing he said when he came here was like, if you do it our way and you fail, it's on us. But if you do it your own way and you fail, it's on you, right? That's stupid, because you're gonna think your way is right, and somebody else is gonna think our players are right. It shouldn't be two different ways. It should be one way. Yeah. We do this together. If we fail to do it, we all fail together, and that's how it is. And we got to take responsibility each individual ways. But he doesn't say that. He says, "Oh, the players got to do this. They got to look better. They got to look on the field. The coaches are." He never says the coaches are wrong.
Nope.
He said one time, and I can count, and I do every one of his press conferences after games. I remember there's one time he did a press conference, and he said, I'll have to talk to Jack about the defense. That was last year in the preseason, and I think it was in the second week of the preseason against Kansas City.
Probably.
Like, there's no accountability in that to that respect. Ron, the GM, screws over Ron, the head coach, because he doesn't hold his teachers responsible for getting his message out.
Nope. Ron is our Bill Belichick. Pretty good at GM, killing us at coaching.
Yeah.
That's why it's been called for the past 25 years the Patriot way, or the Belichick way, because it generally produces results. Ron's way, I just let the guys talk to themselves in the locker room. In the preseason, I need to talk to Bieniemy about some of this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I really wanted to. There was this great young stud offensive lineman out of Florida, 6'6", didn't give up a sack in college. Let me go get this project corner and this project safety.
Yeah.
21. Man, there's this nice young stud linebacker out of Penn State, repping the blue and white, who had some ties to DC. Man, he's slipping down these boards. We have a dire need of linebacker. Let me not trade up and then overdraft a project linebacker out of Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said not trade up, because there have been people who said, we could have drafted Micah Parsons at that. But I'm glad you said that the way you did. I appreciate that.
Micah, if Micah had kept falling, maybe, but there was no outside of.
You had to trade out. Yeah, you had to trade up. Yeah, social media is a terrible world with revisionist history. Yeah, okay.
It's the worst. but you can look at so many different instances. Back in 2020 or 2021, second round. What did we do? I don't think we did anything. I don't think we had a second round pick. You know what we could have done? Creed Humphrey, Nick Bolton. Two young studs who now have Super Bowl rings.
Who did we draft in it? I don't even remember who we drafted.
21.
I don't think we had a second round pick that year.
No, we didn't. No, yeah, you're right. We didn't. Why didn't we have a second round?
I know we didn't have one in 2020 because that was Gibson.
Yeah,
Gibson was a third-round pick that year in 2020.
because we gave I think we got that second round pick. We traded it to
Oh, was that
Indianapolis when we got swept.
or was it the Carson Wentz?
That was 2022. That was last year we traded.
2021. Oh, 2021 was Cosme.
That's who it is. Yeah. It was
Sam Cosme, pick 51.
He hasn't turned out too bad.
Not the greatest, but not the worst.
He's been the best second round pick we've had in probably
forever,
over a decade. Because y'all might be too young to remember this, but back in 2008, that's when it really started, that downfall of the second round pick for Washington, because the Skins had 3 that year.
Yeah.
Devin Thomas, Fred Davis, Malcolm Kelly, and Devin Thomas did go on to win a Super Bowl with the Giants, but they weren't that draft was bad. And Kelly and between the Kelly and the Fred Davis pick, there were 2 guys that were Pro Bowlers there. One was Deshaun Jackson in between those picks, because there was like 4 picks. One was Deshaun Jackson, and I think Calais Campbell was the other guy. So it was Calais Campbell, Deshaun Jackson, then Malcolm Kelly. And it was the craziest thing. I'm like, we had needs at both of those spots. And it just, it blew up in our face, and we haven't been right since.
And Campbell's still playing.
Yeah, Calais still playing. Yeah, he's been all over the map, but he's still playing.
Yeah, and then Jax, I think, just left the league, I think, last year after a stint with the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he played for us for a bag of time. Yeah, our second round picks since 2016. Second round in 2016 was Sua Cravens, outside linebacker. Couldn't tell you where he's been. Couldn't tell you. 2017, defensive lineman Ryan Anderson. Couldn't tell you where he's been. 2018.
They used him as a fullback.
Yeah, we did use him as a fullback because Jay Gruden didn't believe in it.
Nope. 2018 was a third running back, and Darius Guys.
That was a bust.
He was out of the league, I think, in the first year. 2019, we didn't have one because we traded back up for Montez Sweat. 2020, didn't have one. 2021, Cosme. 2022, Phil Mathis, who's just gotten back on the field, and this past year was Quan Martin.
Yeah.
We don't have second-round picks.
No.
Phil Mathis just playing in his second game this past week.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the game where he tore his ACL last year, and he missed the whole season because of that. So hopefully he can, because he was really drafted to be Deron Payne's
replacement.
Yep.
Because I guarantee you, Ron was not comfortable. He was going to re-sign Payne.
Yep.
And then that blew up in his face.
Mm-hmm.
Although now we have a nice rotation at D tackles with Payne, Allen, Abdullah Anderson, Mathis, Ridgeway. Like it's not a bad rotation core when you think about it, especially with how much we play D tackle. But it's been crazy. And I want to bring up some of these tweets, Chris, before I let you go on another rant. Some of these tweets are crazy. Let me pull these up. Yeah, 4th and 5. Rondon challenge. JP Finley. We all know who he is. I'm sure most of us follow him on Twitter. He had a great point. He said, I do think there's a disproportionate amount of time, energy, and focus on an offense that scored 31 and not enough on a defense that gave up 38. He's right. I said this last week or 2 weeks ago. We've put in how many first-round picks, how many second-round, third-round. I think in the last 5 years, we've put in more than half of those into the defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's been too much, and we got too many first-rounders. We got too many second-rounders. I mean, our starting defensive line is all first-rounders.
All first-rounders.
And and we got to give them credit, though. They're good against the run, which that's supposed to be their skill set. But the edge rushers also should be good at getting to the quarterback as well.
Yeah.
And that's something that we haven't seen. And, I wish my daddy would call and defend me on local radio too, like Chase Young's daddy did. So, I mean, it's wild, man. It's wild out here in these streets.
Yeah. Chase Young's dad calling on the radio was like Odell's dad last year on social media, like, y'all need to believe in him. We do. He hasn't produced.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Chris, go ahead, because I know you're itching to say something.
Yeah. So, everybody's talking about trading, fire and sell, da 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 da. I don't think we're going to trade anybody. I honestly don't. And the only person I see that could get traded is Jacoby Brissett, and that's because Minnesota needs a quarterback. But do y'all see anybody getting traded? Because Cam Curl is not going to.
No, hell no.
Jonathan Allen said he said if he wanted to trade, he would have already done it. Yeah. So, do y'all think anybody gets traded?
I don't think anybody gets traded at this point. My logic is this:
tomorrow,
if you're a legitimate GM in the NFL, so like a contender, why would you trade draft capital for Montez Sweat and you're just gonna have him there for a valuable like a 2 or 3? Why would you trade that draft capital away when you could probably have that for yourself? I just don't see it. And I might be wrong. I could sit here tomorrow and look at it like, wow, we were way off and we traded like 4 players. Or it'd be like, yeah, we didn't trade anybody. Kind of like what we thought. So I don't know, man. It just I just don't see it. It makes no sense. And why would you empower Ron to make the right decision for your future regime?
That's fair.
Yeah. Coming out for this game, no. If we'd gone blown out 50-20, I would say probably. If we'd given up 500 yards through the air, 150 on the ground, no sacks, I'd be like, all right, cool. Sweat and or Chase gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you can, between the two of them, you can probably get 2 seconds, a third, and a fifth between the two of them. Especially if Leonard Williams is going for a second and a fifth. When he's 2 years older than Sweat, he has like 4 less sacks this season and like half the tackles of Sweat. Now the market's saying, oh, now Sweat's got to go for a first at this rate, but I don't see it. So, we kept this within 1, and if outside of, let's say, 3 or 4 plays, we tie and take this to overtime again, or we win this game. No, I'm with Chris on this one. I think the only one who has a slim chance is Jacoby Brissett, because Kirk Cousins tears his Achilles, and God rest Kirk Cousins, because that man deserves his flowers more than he doesn't get his flowers. I think I forget if it was Shannon Sharp or Stephen A. or Dan Orlovsky this morning on First Take is, oh, now you realize Kirk Cousins has some value to his organizations. And I figured he's been playing some of his best football this season.
Yeah.
But get healthy, Kirk. We don't like that, seeing you get hurt. We want to see you healthy. There is more of a chance of Ron getting fired this week than us trading someone. That's how there is more of a chance that Ron Rivera and or Jack Del Rio get fired this week or the next 2 weeks than us trading by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Sure.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I don't think either one of them is going to happen, but
No.
I can see it. Yeah.
No. Would we all probably celebrate them getting fired? Probably. And there's I have 2 tweets that I will talk about, but I'm going to pull up this first one that has been making the waves in the Washington fan groups and fan Instagrams and fan Twitters. The Commanders version of like the Instagram wrestling community. You see all the memes about that. This is our version. But shout out to Chad Ryan, Chad Wuko TWW on Twitter. He said if Washington makes changes with their coaches, which is definitely a wrong possibility, here's how he would make these interim arrangements. So on defense, Jack's fired. Steve Russ, who's the linebacker coach, would take over, and Ryan Kerrigan, our stud linebacker for so many years, would be the new linebacking coach because he's the current assistant D-line coach. I would absolutely love Kerrigan as a linebacking coach because our linebackers suck ass. And if Ron and Jack both got fired, you obviously promote EB to head coach. That's everyone and their mother knows that's going to happen if Ron gets fired. Steve Zimbasti, who's the current offensive advisor, would be OC. Steve Russ would be coordinator, and Kerrigan would be linebacking coach. I don't know about you two. I would love to see Ryan Kerrigan and maybe Warren Sapp come in and coach these guys how to play some ball because clearly it's not showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was, no offense to Chad Ryan, I thought that was some of the dumbest stuff that he could post out there. It's so stupid. You mean to tell me Steve Russ, who's the linebackers coach, who his team hasn't been able to bust a grape in Welch's backyard for 4 years, that unit is piss poor, and you mean to tell me he's going to become your primary defensive coordinator? Yeah, you missed me with that crap, man. And like, what are you smoking? Can you ship that stuff over from Australia over here to me? Because I need to smoke some of that dead kangaroo that you're on right now out there. Because the dingo has eaten somebody's brain, somebody's baby, and somebody's common sense. That makes no sense whatsoever, bro. He misses me with that. So you're gonna reward a guy for who has gotten nothing out of the linebacking core for 4 doggone years, and see, this is the reason why you don't fire Ron Rivera, because you got these yahoos that aren't showing up. Like, it's the same thing with the secondary, right? You mean to tell me you're going to put Richard Rodgers or Brett Vesselmeyer? No, stop it. Stop it. You're not going to do that. Now, I mean, if you fire, the only thing I can see happening is they fire Ron and then maybe Jack or EB takes over. Excuse me, that's the only thing. But Steve Russ, really? And then Kerrigan is an outside linebacking guy. I'm not saying he doesn't know ball, but he was a hand in the dirt defensive end at Purdue. Then he became a stand-up linebacker in the NFL thing. Yep. I'm like, I don't know if that's really the translation you really need going on there. Not saying that he can't do it, but it just doesn't make sense to me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, Kerrigan putting up 91.5 sacks in his career is not a bad way to go out. And honestly, what was that? The 2011 draft class with JJ, Vaughn, and I'm missing. Was that AD too? Aaron Donald, or am I missing AD?
No, Aaron Donald came a little bit later.
Came later.
Yeah, he came. Aaron Donald came a little later.
So the fact that you were the 3rd or 4th best pass rusher in that class outside of Hall of Fame J.J. Watt, Hall of Fame Von Miller. Don't think that's a bad way to go out in your career. But if you told me Kerrigan would take over the defensive line coach position, yes, because Chase and Sweat need help right there. Linebackers, you need London Fletcher to be your coach. That made more sense. But I first of all, when I first saw this tweet, I was like, yeah, this makes sense. And the more you read it, I'm like, But who would actually take over as DC if Jack leaves? There's no one really great unless you call in someone, and now you're like, what the fuck are they doing?
Right.
What was it? Wasn't Vic Fangio the Eagles' defensive coordinator in the Super Bowl, and then he immediately went back to Miami for the offseason? Didn't that happen?
He was a consultant, defensive consultant, yes. Then he got hired as the defense coordinator. Yep.
Yeah. If Jack gets fired, let's do that with someone. Honestly, just have some advisor come in, tell us, all right, these are the teams you're playing. Try this out. If it works, great. If not,
We're gonna get the bingo caller. Y'all remember the bingo caller? Y'all ever hear the story of the bingo caller?
I don't think so.
So in Jim Zorn's last year, he was relieved of play calling duties.
Mhm.
And they went and got a guy named Sherman. I think it was Sherman Smith. He had been a defense coordinator and offense coordinator in Green Bay and like Detroit for like in the early 2000s and late 90s. So they got him. He was calling bingo at a retirement community,
Yeah.
and he came back. And towards the end of towards the middle of that season, I think we started out on Monday Night Football. They literally had Sherm Smith, Sherm Lewis, and Sherman Lewis call the plays down to Sherm Lewis, but and he would call and he would get relay them to Jason Campbell.
Ballers, hold up. We got a few sponsors we need to personally thank for here at Ballin and Burgundy. First, our guy Washington on the Daily, both on Instagram and YouTube. Huge sponsor. We want to give our massive thanks out to them. You can follow Washington on the Daily, both on Instagram and on Twitter, WSH on the Daily. Our guy Tony, who's Pro Tech Sports Network. Huge thanks to him. I met up with him at the Commanders Vikings game. Huge thanks to him. Our guy Sanchez had On the Warpath podcast over on YouTube and on Instagram. And then finally, our guy Rio Robinson, Mr. Rambling with Rio himself, our newest sponsor, and a huge thanks to him. Met up with him at the Vikings Commanders game as well. Said thank you to him. Again, huge thanks. Again, all of their Instagrams and YouTubes are going to be down in the description. You guys go follow all of them. And again, one big thank you to Rio, Tony, Sanchez, Washington on the Daily for being sponsors of not only today's video, but Ballin and Burgundy as a podcast. Get back to work.
And now we return you to our regular scheduled program.
That's definitely before my time. That's just
It's crazy.
Problem is, I could probably see something like that happening right now. It's being like, who do we know that could play calls? Pick him out.
Yeah, we just gonna get somebody. It's gonna be on the job training, pretty much. It's gonna be on the
exactly
job
what this
training.
feels like. Actually, under Jason Wright, that's exactly what would happen is on the job training.
Yeah, it would be. Thankfully we ain't got to deal with him too much. He's been relegated to the business side, so we don't have to hear anything from Jason Wright.
Yep. Although for what as a glorified PR guy, he's done as well as he can.
Yeah, he been all right. He's been okay, but I like him. It's like some of the local media say, you don't hear from your business guys. We don't need to hear from our business guy.
No.
So yeah, that's why we don't hear from him.
Very nice man, handsome man, great voice. Maybe not as our team president.
Yeah, I'll get him as I vote for him for local for my local councilman or something. Right. That's what I'd do. I'd vote for Jason Wright for that.
If Jason went for mayor in Maryland, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'd vote for him.
There you go. See, we're on the same page. We get it. I was like, he gets our causes and our problems.
Yeah. Does he solve them? Not always, but
probably no.
He understands them.
He'll get your name change.
Exactly. Twice. So he'll get your name changed twice.
Right. You ain't lying.
Although Washington football team was kind of growing on me.
No, it never grew. It never grew on me, man. I hate the Washington football team. That's why I'm not too offended by the Commanders. I know people get upset about the Commanders. I'm just like, we got a name. Let's just get over it. Can we focus on important things now?
Like the name's better than the Generals or the Presidents, but something like the Red Wolves as the fit, Red Wolves, Red Tails.
Oh yeah.
As the two top, and then you went out to your eighth option.
Yeah, we had to get there. They were like, this one doesn't make. Yeah, this one's not good in the what was they saying? The the trademark and everything and the copyright infringement. I'm like, y'all got to be kidding me, man.
Y'all are a $6 billion organization. You can't shell out $1 million to share the copyright.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, call Arkansas State, say, what's your price for us to share this, and we'll be the Red Wolves too. Heck, you even drafted a Red Wolf. We had William Bradley King on the team. He was an Arkansas State Red Wolf.
And well, now he's in New England, but yeah.
So I mean, it is what it is, man.
Yeah. If they came to Washington and said, hey, it'll take $1 million and for y'all to give us some new helmet, like a new equipment manager,
right?
It's not that hard. I don't think that would have cost us that much. Actually, Dan was sneaking money from the IRS, so maybe it was costing.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was underneath the table and everything. Yeah. So yeah, maybe not.
That's besides the point. That's besides the point. I don't know if you follow Commander's Realm on Twitter, Eric Sully.
Yeah, I saw the huge
lengthy tweet.
Yeah, I poked some holes in that one too on the previous podcast I was on, and yeah, there's so much. Where do you want to start it with that one?
I'll put up on the editing process. But it's like a mini essay. It's like a bullet point essay. Mm-hmm. So he starts out by saying he's gonna go on a rant under the Microsoft. Fine, we all been doing that. How many stars or really players has this regime brought in? He says there's 3: Chase Young, Jahan Dotson, and Cam Curl. I can see that. I think we have stars growing, but I think those were the bigger names and those respective draft classes are like those are pretty good, solid day one starting guys.
Right.
So I give that one like an 8 out of 10. Like there's logic that says no, but I think the majority of people will be like, that's fair. He goes on to say, let's break it down. The core of this team has been Gruden era guys. So Payne, Allen, Sweat, Terry, Tressway, all of them Gruden. 4 out of 5 team captains this year outside of Sam Howell was a Gruden guy, and two of the better players, Fuller and Crowder, were brought back who were originally Gruden guys. I'm still kind of giving that an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Right,
yeah.
I think there's like I was shocked we brought back Jamison Louder Crowder, and I don't know if it was with you or forget, but I was like, what the hell did we bring him back? And people said punt return. I was like, never mind. And people are saying he's the best free agent signing we've had this season, and they're not wrong.
Probably right. Yeah, they're right.
I wouldn't say like I think he's a better signing than Nick Gates by probably a mile.
Oh yeah.
I would take him over Wiley. I would take him over Barton. I think Abdullah Anderson out of the blue signing actually wasn't bad for depth and rotation wise. I think he was actually a pretty decent piece.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jacoby, I don't think was a bad one because you were going to need a QB competition regardless. So I would give him our second or third best. So that part of saying Gruden era guys, all right, I'll give that another 8 out of 10. I can see the logic behind it. I can also see why people are saying shut the fuck up.
Right.
And the rest of this tweet, even though 2 of our best depth guys in Reeves and Johnson were brought in under Gruden, or even 2 of them, Reeves and Johnson, were brought under Gruden. Our best D lineman up until last year, Roulier, was a Gruden guy. Ron Rivera's regime has drafted 0 Pro Bowlers in 4 years. They've reached up for players. They traded up for long snappers. They signed old and washed up guys out of the scrap heap. They failed to address the same positions Eve offseason, which is QB or non-QB free agent acquisition was William Jackson III, who run him in didn't fit our scheme. I think I'd give that one a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, okay. So let's look at this. He drafted a rookie of the year Pro Bowler. Yep. So right there, that's not accurate, but that's comparing apples and oranges. I won't blame it on that. Is it not the job of the head coach to develop the talent that is also on the roster. We saw these guys take next level steps under Ron Rivera's coaching staff. We saw John Allen reach a Pro Bowl. He didn't do it with Jay Gruden. He had been here 2 years under Jay Gruden. We saw Montez Sweat. He's developed into probably a tradable asset. We look at Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin, he was a diamond in the rough. But what happened? He finally got to a Pro Bowl under Ron Rivera, under Scott Turner. So when people say Tress Way, he wasn't a Pro Bowler under Jay Gruden. He had been here all of Jay Gruden's tenure, and he couldn't break through as a Pro Bowler. Jeremy Reed wasn't all pro, but he did it under the and even to speaking of that, Ron and them could have cut some of these guys or traded them off, but he didn't. Now I get that we give him credit. He hadn't drafted any a linebacker worth of darn. He had drafted an offensive lineman worth of darn. But I think at this point, this is kind of nitpicky, man, because they're supposed to be doing stuff. And what does Ron say in his press conference? We're developing. We're supposed to be developing a young quarterback. What you doing? Developing a young quarterback. I think B-Rob has done all right. I think when you give him time, Antonio Gibson is okay too. And some of these cats were Pro Bowl alternates. And what does it really even mean to be a Pro Bowler now in the NFL?
Participation trophy.
That's all it is. Who gives a damn? Like it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I think this was just somebody who woke up this morning at 1 a.m. or just stayed up at 1 a.m. this morning and was like, you know what? I've got to get this off my chest so people will see this. I guess some people aren't mad about it and everything, but I'm just like, yeah, the coach's job is to carry the mantle. He's supposed to work with the tools he has as well.
Yeah. I think there's a few exceptions to this development, and I think the best one right now is the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, you turn around Jared Goff's career
mm-hmm.
by a country mile. He's the second best quarterback in the NFC right now, outside of Hurts.
Yeah,
maybe the best.
He's balling.
There's an argument he's the second or first best QB in the NFC. So you drafted Sam Laporta, and he's probably the third best tight end in the league, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You might have reached on Jahmyr Gibbs, but everyone reaches eventually.
You got to.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to.
Yeah, you got to. Sometimes you got to gamble on that.
Yeah. I mean, the Lions won, 8 of their last 9 last season? Or something, like some crazy stacks. They started 1-6.
Mm-hmm.
And they won 8-9 or 9-8 or...
Yeah, they went 9-8 last year. They won that last game to get them over that hump.
Yep. I think are they 5-2 right now?
Yeah, they're 5-2. They might be getting ready to be 6-3, but they're playing a close game against the Raiders right now.
Yeah, they're 5-2 right now. They're leading 26-14, 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter as
there you go.
So it'd be 6-2. So I think the Lions are the really only exception, and maybe the Niners, but Kyle Shanahan's offense is quarterback friendly. So Brock Purdy was bound to look good. These past 3 weeks have not looked the greatest, but when you lose the best left tackle in football, in my MVP this season, Christian McCaffrey, and a top 10 receiver in Deebo Samuel, you're going to take a step back.
You're not saying AJ Brown? AJ Brown doesn't get a vote for MVP for you?
Right now, no. For me, it's CMC.
Yeah.
For AJ Brown, right now is the best receiver in football. Right now, I would take him over Devontae Adams, over CeeDee Lamb, over Cooper Kupp, over D-Hop. When you have 6+ games of 125 yards plus, and I think a touchdown in every game, you deserve to say you're the best receiver in football.
Right.
Sorry about it, but he is. He's the best receiver in the NFC, and is certainly the best receiver in the NFC East.
Fair. That's fair.
I think CeeDee's making a case because he's making these 364 spinning kick receptions in the end zone like a madman. But no, I think it's AJ Brown by a mile. I think for me it's CMC because when you go 16 straight games with a touchdown and like half those are 2-3 touchdown games,
Mm-hmm.
you deserve to get your credit. He won't win MVP because MVP is a QB award.
Right.
I think the last one to win it was that Peterson? Was that AP?
Yeah, I think Peterson was the last non-quarterback to. Yeah, is that?
Because it wasn't
You might be
Cup.
right.
Because it wasn't Cup, although he should have won that in 2021. It wasn't Marshawn. It wasn't Beast Mode.
No.
It wasn't Zeke. It wasn't LaShawn. It wasn't. Yeah, I think it was AP.
Yeah. I think it might have been. I think it might have been Peter.
I think
Peterson.
that was 20. Is that 2012?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2012. That's 2012. He came back off of that that injury, and he tore his ACL. So yeah, that was It's been it's been all quarterbacks since then.
Yep.
Mahomes, Rodgers twice, Jackson, Mahomes again, Brady, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. If CMC has, because he's already got what 9-10 touchdowns in this season.
He scored a touchdown every game this year, I think.
I think there's 2 or 3 of them that are multiple time touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He could easily get to 25 touchdowns this season and probably still not win MVP.
That's fair. That is fair.
Because even let's say he has, let's call it 13 and 8 games. Because I think there's like 2 of them with 3 or 2 touchdowns. So it's called 13 and 8. That would be 26 and 16 games, and you play another game. So that would, let's call that 28. So 28 and 17 games. Let's call it 1,500 yards on the ground and another 800 through the air.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Tyreek, he's Offensive Player of the Year and should be in consideration for the MVP.
Yeah.
But I think Tua gets it if he gets to 2,000 yards because he's already over 1,000.
Yeah, well, it's got to be about who's feeding you the ball sometimes, I guess. You know, the orchestrator, the point guard, so I guess the quarterback.
Yeah.
They kind of go in there with, I mean, you look at Jalen Hurts last year, you know, he was second place in the MVP awards, and really, if he had thrown probably 30 touchdown passes and his rushing numbers may have subsided a little bit or maintained, he probably would have been the MVP.
I don't even blame the numbers. I blame him missing those 2 games to end the season.
That's true. That's true. You gotta, because I think that's why Brady won it in 17 when it should have been Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Carson got hurt, and then Brady took over.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Eagles lost to Dallas and to, was it the Browns with Minshew? It was Dallas and someone else.
Last year, yeah, they lost to the Saints.
Saints, thank you.
Yeah, they lost to the Saints. I think that was, they lost to the Saints last year. So it was Dallas and New Orleans, and then they lost to us. So that was the 3 games that they lost last year.
Yeah, because it was like 2 games to end the season that he was out. And then he comes out and balls in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Mahomes is Mahomes. He's always going to be the conversation. But Jalen kind of, I don't want to say cost himself the trophy because I forget how he got hurt. I think it was an O-line collapse or he just twisted the knee or something. But Mahomes took that. But it must be nice to have an MVP-style quarterback with a top 10 offensive line, the best GM in football, an owner who believes in you. Haven't had that in before my time.
Yeah. We've never had that. Since I can remember, we have never, ever had that.
Nope.
And it hurts. Terribly hurts.
Hopefully we get it with Harris and Magic Johnson. But shout out to Magic because he's now a billionaire.
He's a baller, though.
He's balling. He's balling.
And Burgundy. He's balling in Burgundy.
He's balling in Burgundy, which is ironic. And I love it. I love the pun play we're working with.
There you go.
I love it. I love it to see it. Sunday was a weird game. I think these were the Eagles' drives. this entire game. And shout out Ref the District on X. I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter because damn X. Look, these are their drives: punt, field goal, fumble at the 5, which I think was the QB sneak. No. So fumble at the 5 because that was Gainwell. Touchdown and then fumble out the 1. That was the QB sneak that we killed. And then touchdown, punt, touchdown, victory formation. That's disgraceful.
Yeah.
One of those touchdowns comes from the interception, and that last touchdown comes from a fake QB sneak to DeAndre Swift, who just just wild.
Yeah, it's I mean, it was the last. I don't count that last drive where they nailed it off, but if you look at it, the last 4 out of 5 drives of the game, legitimate drives, all they ended in touchdowns, not field goals, but touchdowns. One ended in punt, where the defense got lucky on a 3-and-out.
Yeah,
and we couldn't flip the 2 turnovers we got.
No,
we punted or we turned it over on downs.
Yeah, which was ridiculous. And then somehow we get the ball with like a minute and 50 left. We get a touchdown in 40 seconds to Jamison Crowder, who made a great leaping catch. Like, he just went all the way out for it. But I'm like, let me get this straight. So against Philly, you can get a touchdown in the first drive, touchdown on your second drive, get a touchdown in 40 seconds in the fourth quarter when you couldn't even get a 4th and 1, but you're going to shit the bed against Buffalo, against the Giants, and against the Bears.
Makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. It's Washington, bro.
It's the Washington. What's the trend nowadays? Girl math? This is Washington math. You're gonna shit the bed. Well, okay, Buffalo is a separate story. They're a top team, but 4 interceptions.
I ain't hating on no girl math. My wife is a math teacher, so I ain't hating on no girl math, because that girl math, shoot, they get you paid sometimes, bro. So I ain't hating on no girl math.
It does get you paid sometimes. But Washington math don't add up.
It don't.
Chicago put up 40, and you're gonna let the Giants hold you to 7 when you're putting up 30 plus against the Eagles twice. Put up 35 on Denver, 20 on Arizona. Because now, based on Washington math, we're gonna go shit the bed against New England. We're gonna make it close against Seattle. We're gonna, what's the next schedule? Seattle. We're gonna lose to the Giants in week 11, and then we're gonna make it close to Dallas in week 12. That's how this is gonna line up.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like. I mean, I kind of even said today. I'm like, I don't see where we're getting another win this year. If that's an overreaction, I don't think that we will go winless throughout the last 9 games of the season. But I do, because that's the least Washington thing to do.
Yeah,
we're going to upset some teams and everything. But if you look at it from just a pure paper standpoint, the teams you just mentioned, like New England, Seattle, back to back, we got both of them on the road, and then we come home for the Giants, Dallas on Thanksgiving. Then we come back after that Thanksgiving. We got the Dolphins. Then we're on the road again against the Rams.
Well, it's the Dolphins, and then it's our bye week in week 14.
That's right. Yeah.
Woo! The latest bye week out of everyone.
Again, for the second year in a row.
And then we go on a possible 4-game losing streak: Rams, Jets, Niners, and Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It's quite possible. But I don't look ahead to that, because things should change. Injuries happen.
Yeah.
Who can tell in these situations? It's weird. Sometimes, especially now with Vegas playing a key role in certain situations.
Yeah.
To see how that goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. I've said this in a few Chiseled streams. Shout out Chiseled down outside. I think he's streaming right now. I'm pessimistically optimistic about every single game. Because I'm like, all right, we'll put up at least 20 and then choke away leads.
Something will happen. Yep.
And something will happen. We'll probably get 2 or 3 sacks, give up 6. and then throw an interception.
Mm-hmm.
Although yesterday was damn near a perfect game from our offensive line. And if this offensive line does not stick together next week, Ron should be nailed to the wall.
Oh, he ain't getting nailed to the wall. You know that, John. He's not getting nailed to the wall.
No, but he should, because it's all. I mean, Chris Paul was what? Wasn't Chris Paul a draft pick?
Chris Paul? Yeah, he's a draft pick of ours. Yep.
Yeah. And this is his first real start.
Yeah.
We
second start.
Second real start. We haven't seen a Larson since last season.
Mm-hmm.
You still put Leno and Wiley out there. And the only reason why Wiley gives up a sack is because it was a 4th and 5, I think, blitz, and Hassan Reddick gets the sack. But I mean, Wiley just got blown up on that.
Wiley's terrible. I mean, and for Pro Football Focus to do what they did and rating him the second best offensive lineman, they ought to be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, Pro Football Focus is losing confidence in every single fan. They give Chris Paul like a 40.4.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
He only gave up like 2 pressures.
Yeah, I know. I know. I just don't get where the logic comes in from the grading and who's grading. I mean, are you getting somebody who has never played like an offensive line spot or something like that?
Yeah.
Or like what's going on? Are you getting the egghead to do it? Like, so I don't know.
Yeah, this Pro Football, or this was everything from the offensive line. So Wiley gave up 2 pressures and a sack.
Mm-hmm.
Best game he's played since like the Super Bowl. Leno gave up 4 pressures. Paul gave up 4 pressures. Larson and Cosme gave up 2 pressures. So 8, 10, so 14 pressures and a sack against this quote-unquote vaunted Philadelphia defense. When we were slicing up Bradbury, Kevin Byard, and Darius Slay.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man.
It's nuts. And Sidney Brown, the Illinois rookie.
Which he had some. Sidney Brown, I thought he played okay for them.
Yeah.
I thought he played all right.
Yeah. But it's like you're winning at halftime 17-10, and you come out and I think you force them a 3-and-out to start their drive, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't capitalize on any of your next 3 drives. But then you come out with like a minute 40 left, get a 40-yard. It would have been a 20-second touchdown if Byron Pringle catches that pass.
Yeah, he did. Oh God, yeah, I forgot about Byron Pringle. Oh man.
But let's touch on that before we wrap things up. Byron Pringle led that ball.
God.
I don't know if it was an overshot by Sam. I don't know if he made a quick adjustment as he was running to the field and got a slip on it. That ball was just centimeters from your hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why did we bring you in?
Right.
We chose you over Tinsley and Allen and using you more than Jahan.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah, man.
Because right now, Tinsley, KJ Henry, and Andre Jones are wastes of roster space. They've been healthy scratches all year. Not even on special teams. Probably still in Ashburn. They're probably in Ashburn right now watching the TV being like, man, that could be us. What's that old Paul Rudd and Hot Ones? Hey, like, hey, look at us. At home.
Be crazy. That's crazy.
At home catching the paycheck. When you
That's exactly what they're doing.
Oh my, I swear to God, if we watch the moment Henry or Jones Jr. gets called up, each of them has 2 sacks, a forced fumble, or they get absolutely destroyed. It's gonna be one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, they don't. It wouldn't surprise me either way with this team.
Nope.
Because that's how they operate, man. That's how it goes. Sometimes we get all these cats who are terrible, or they show flashes in the most inopportune time, and I mean, I don't know anymore with it. I just hopefully I want to be pleasantly surprised. That's all.
Hopefully. When the fact that Casey Toohill is like your second best pass rusher on this defense,
2-2.
that scares me. That's
Yeah. I like Toohill though. He's got a hard I said
high
hard
motor.
motor. Woo, high motor. Yes,
gritty,
a high motor.
He's
Ooh.
gritty, sneaky athleticism.
Yes. All that he's got that speed as Deion Sanders would say. He's got that you know what we're alluding to in that situation. But I mean, I think the dude can ball.
He's good.
He was a pickup that he's been like, that's the one thing we don't give Ron.
We don't give Ron credit for.
Yeah, here we go. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
We don't give Ron and them enough credit for bringing in some of these role players like Toohill that they found. He was a 2020 draft pick for the Eagles. They picked him up in 2020, put on a practice squad, let him develop. John Ridgeway last year, it's the same way. We found him. He was a 5th-round pick for Dallas, and he's been doing okay on this squad. So, we do have to give him some credit. I'm not saying give him the whole benefit. He's not going to be vindicated or anything, or if we win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years, we ain't sending him no jewelry. But I think you do give him some credit in those respects.
Yeah, Toohill was a 2020 7th-round pick, pick 233 out of Stanford from Philly, and then we get him in 2021. This year, he has 8 solo tackles and 4 sacks.
There you go.
Why? Why are you this good and not like starting for a team?
Because we have Chase Young and Montez Sweat. That's why.
And F.A. Obata.
Yeah.
You traded up for KJ Henry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm missing another one. Shaka Toney suspended. Bradley.
Yeah, he's too busy betting on games and FanDueling it and everything.
Well, everyone in the offseason was like, man, we got to use Shaka Toney more. This kid was made, and then gamble.
Yep. He literally took a gamble on this. When they say bet on you, when people tell you to bet on yourself, Shaka Toney took it to a new doggone level.
Yep. But that's kind of the Commanders, everything. It's bet on yourself, and it generally blows up in your face.
Right.
That's generally how that goes, and that's going to be our segue to wrap things up. Blowing ourselves in the foot, or blowing ourselves in the face of participating in the Plasko Burrs challenge of shooting yourself in the goddamn foot. I mean, that's what we did on Sundays. We shot ourselves in the foot.
Oh, man, you've been watching too much Chisel. Now, good grief, bro. I
probably do.
Oh, man, yeah, that's funny. We won't have any more. I was upset when we didn't have any more Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins connection, getting connected for free. But
I mean, I made my own, but I'll save that for a later date.
I hear you.
I made one for Washington, but I'll save that for a later date if and when it actually happens. And if that's the case.
Dax Mill.
No, I was going to take out the white people connection and put in the UNC connection with.
Okay, all right, Ball. I hear you. I see you. I see. Okay. I bet. If Diame don't, if he doesn't stop dropping footballs and stuff, I think it'd be good.
If he actually gets used, it gets touched on all years. Get connected for free with the UNC connection. Get connected for free. How like now for the Commanders TD? Actually,
I liked it. It's wild, but I like it. It's a bold move, Cotton. But bold strategy. I like it. We'll see if it pays off.
It's bold, but it hopefully pays off. If not,
right.
Vault. We'll go into the vault. But yeah, let's wrap things up. I can't thank you enough for coming on, even though you did the back-to-back with another podcast, but I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
Anytime.
Appreciate y'all having me.
Absolutely. We'll probably, knowing us, we'll have you on again this season or in the off season. That's almost a guarantee.
Let me know. I'm always free for you. So just if not, I can make time. That's what I tell folks all the time. So
I got you. But yeah, let's wrap things up, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, not only here on BIB, but head over to On the Warpath, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the 9. Go follow Corey over there. Got amazing content, whether it's going live, whether it's ranting, whether it's joining us, joining other podcasts. Go follow him. Go follow us. We're going to have more content coming for you guys coming the next 2 weeks. We got more guests lined up. We got more content lined up, whether it's Thanksgiving, whether it's Christmas. The off season, we got more coming up. If there's more trade lines, you guys will see all of us over on Instagram and over on TikTok posting all that. Do we think things will happen? Absolutely not. Will things happen? Probably not. Ron Rivera doesn't like to touch his toys unless it's to send them away for absolutely no value. But it is what it is. Yeah, like, subscribe. Hopefully these Commanders go out next Sunday and win. And if not, you will hear it from us, as that'd be 3 straight losses. You would hear from us. But yeah, this is a mid-Monday, mid-Tuesday. You guys are seeing this on Halloween. Normally Halloween's like, yeah, we got candy. We got candy corn, raisins, carrots, and that was our Halloween. Was just some fresh, as Shannon Sharp would say, fresh hot nails. But yeah, like, subscribe, follow us on all the socials. Go follow Corey. And don't forget to stay ballin'. We'll see y'all out there.